Yeah, Kate is a dear friend from Frankfurt School Blockchain Center from DLT Talents, and she's also doing her refi talents right now. She's a mentor, and she's an academic. She's a scientist, and she's also even, I mean, doing projects with the museums and NFTs and digital art. So yeah, what can I say more about you, Kate? You move on.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anil. Yes, my name is Kate. I am extremely happy to be here today with you to listen to your perspective and to share my knowledge. As it was mentioned, I have PhD in quantum physics, so a big part of my professional career I dedicated to technology and to coding technology, to AI, to quantum technologies. And now there is a second part of my professional life, which is also art, and I'm doing my second PhD in the School of Louvre. In the Louvre, there is a university actually, so you study just straightforward inside. And I try in my professional life combine both sides of my previous scientific and academic career. I combine both arts and technology, and that's why it was absolutely natural for me to come to the NFT space, because NFT is basically art and technology together. And I have a project. We work with museums. We help to gather them funds via the buyers of NFT technologies so they can purchase more art and attract more and more tourists to come. And if we talk about my vision, what is technology in arts and why it's important, because as a historian of art, the question of what is medium of art is extremely fascinating for me. And the medium of art, I mean, on what we put art and what we conceive what is art. Sometimes we think that art is a painting on canvas, but it used to be a painting like fresco on walls. What is art? Fresco or painting? Or it's exactly the same for sculpture, because sculptures could be done from marble or from iron. And it's same for digital art. It's still art, it's same art, but the medium corresponds to the technological breakthrough of our generation. Yes, thank you.
Oh, great introduction, like the evolution of art. Yeah, thanks for that, Kate. And Irem, I know Irem from Istanbul, and he's an international, I mean, contemporary and digital artist, and she's an academic. She's doing amazing things. And lastly, I know that she's been working on some VR and AR projects. Yeah, let's hear some of your projects and your background, Irem.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Anil, for this opportunity. Yes, as Anil mentioned, I'm an academic and digital artist, and I live in Istanbul, where I work as assistant professor at Istanbul Bilgi University. Also, I'm coming from the cinema background. I've participated in many group exhibitions, festivals, and workshops in various countries around the world. My short film here has been selected for the official screening selection of various international film and art festivals. And for 3 years, I can say that, yeah, for 3 or 4 years, I'm interested in XR technologies. And related to this, I'm one of the seven resident artists of Invensiva 2022 by Espronceda Institute of Art and Culture in Barcelona, Spain. And I am one of the mentors of Istanbul XR Art Residency in 2022. Also, in May 2023, I gave gravity sketch workshops as a visiting professor at the Eugeniusz Geppert Academy of Art and Design in Wrocław, Poland. I took place as an artistic coordinator and also again gravity sketch workshop mentor at Meta Spark Hackathon and Spark AR Hackathon in Istanbul. Recently, in addition to all these, I can say that recently I took part some international artistic events such as NFT Biennial, the Wrong Biennial, and Athens Digital Art Festival with my video artworks. And also, I'm one of the artists of London-based Sedition Digital Art Platform. I have 2 collections in there. Related with all these informations, I actually summarize my artistic statement. I've always found to collect lives and crises that individuals go through in today's ready lives interesting, and in a society ruled by the patriarchal social order and social screams, maybe we can call it like this, of the suppressed, namely women or different gender identities, are thought to be brought out of bed as it's a mean of purification as well as an expression of their inner world. So in this axis, actually, I try to embody the feelings that are internalized in daily life practices, which also reflects the general views about life. So having used an interdisciplinary approach by using combination of digital drawing, digital painting, video, motion graphics, and also XR technologies, I aim to convey the multidimensional character of the human mind. And in that point of view, in my works focusing on gender and identity issues, I explore the representation. Actually, I try to explore the representation phenomenon of feminist art as well. Yeah, I can summarize it like this.
Yeah, thank you, Iram. Great, great work, and yeah, very inspirational, I must say. And yeah, dear Kerstin, my friend, my dear friend from Berlin. I mean, we've been actually participating in different summits and conferences about Web3 and blockchain, and talking and discussing and fire chatting about art and digital art. And the ecosystem. So actually, I'd like to add Kerstin one more question, not about what is art for Kerstin, but especially what's the biggest impact of blockchain and Web3 on art and the art ecosystem. In addition to the potential, do you also see boundaries? That's what I'm doing it just to save some time.
I can tell, Anil. Thank you very much for your very kind introduction. I have to say I'm very excited to be part of this incredible panel and listening to you all. I mean, this is like a learning curve for oneself, so thank you. My name is Kerstin. I am based in Berlin, and I am an art and tech strategist. I'm advising clients from the art ecosystem, such as galleries and institutions, on topics like digital transformation, business model innovation, but also Web3 related assignments. I am also practicing as an art and tech startup advisor and working together with art tech startups who are trying to either evolve an MVP, which is relevant for the art market, or looking for guidance for their go-to-market strategy. And I'm also the co-founder and author of the Art and Tech Report, which is an independent research initiative. And I know we're going to touch upon this later. But we already published 3 editions, and we are always out to examine the impact of technology for art and the art market. I'm also a DNT and NFT talent, which I share with many of you. And I think it's fair to say that you will always find me at the intersection of art and technology, because that is what I feel most passionate about, I would say. And without skipping the question about art in the digital age, Anil, I just wanted to quickly say that for someone who's rooted in the art market and very passionate about contemporary art, as I am, I definitely feel that we are witnessing a very unique moment here in terms of art history, with artists and creators utilizing those new technologies as a creative medium, and hence creating completely new forms of art. So I think it will be very exciting to see what is ahead of us. Now, with the second question you gifted to me, that's a bolder one. If you ask me how I see the biggest impact of the advent of blockchain for art and the art industry, I would probably first and foremost say it's the rise of digital art. Because thanks to blockchain and NFT as a technology, it's now possible to own and possess digital assets, and because they can be scarce now and of value, and we all know that's been the foundation for digital art. And I'm very excited to see how the acceptance and the appreciation has risen ever since, although digital art has been around for quite some years. many people say since the 60s. So it's been around, but only now, due to digital ownership, it actually gained the appreciation it deserves, and has entered the art canon and the market itself. So I think that is one of the biggest innovations brought by blockchain to the art system. I'm sorry, personally, I also think, which is quite an innovation and a clear shift to everything we know so far, at least from a traditional art market point of view, is that blockchain has introduced the redistribution of power back to the side of the artist. Meaning, artists nowadays are in such a stronger position now. They can own their data, they can own their work, they can sell it directly without the need or dependency on a gatekeeper or a gallery. They can build direct relationships with their collectors, which puts them in a very strong position. And at least in theory, they would also be able to participate in resale royalties on the secondary market, which altogether puts them in a very strong position. And I think that, to me, is the biggest shift and change seen by the advent or the arrival of blockchain and its opportunities for the art system.
Yes, thank you, Kerstin. We know that, I mean, we have opportunities, but there are also boundaries. So I want to ask this question actually to Esra, because she is a creator and also, I mean, working for the museums, digital art museums, and plus, I mean, she's been in different, she's been involving and participating in, I mean, different events and organizations like Samsung Digital Art. So what do you think about the boundaries, Esra, especially, I mean, improving the Web3 and art ecosystem, or the art ecosystem?
Well, firstly, I'm totally agree, Kristen, and I do like it something for the potential sides, and then I will explain boundaries. And the first potential is, I think, monetizing digital arts is blockchain-based platforms that have emerged has heard the layout of blueprint for how digital works, whether in the form of video, illustration, text, graphics, something like that. And previously, when we opened digital art exhibitions, collectors didn't know how to buy the artworks, and they wanted to buy the artwork they saw on the screen at the exhibition, or they asked how they could display it after buying. So the same process still continue, but collectors are now more informed. And additionally, when they buy the artwork, they were a bit disappointed when I just sent them a USB or a WeTransfer link, because this is because they had a paid money, sometimes pay more money. And when I just sent, using send the WeTransfer link, and they think about the artwork they bought was contained with the link. And sometimes they said, "How it is possible? I paid money and it's just link." Okay. And then when we tell the collectors that they can buy it as an NFT, they are more familiar, and if they have a wallet, they can buy it. And if not, we can explain how to create one, and then they can make the buy it. Is an easy way. And also another one is in creating autonomous works of art. That means generative arts. Before, we are exhibited generative artworks and some systems, but collectors doesn't understand. But now it changed. And also, um, I believe the economy created specifically in the creative sectors, especially in theater and the concerts. And it's very important. It's necessary not to think just not only the digital arts technology or digital arts. And boundaries is, I think, technology is sometimes not understand easily. And if technology understand easily, sometimes people, create a new brick or building a new boundaries. and also it's reflection of contemporary issues sometimes. And I can say we have we don't have a big community in the technology side and also NFT side, especially in Istanbul, in Turkey side, not an international side. And of course, accessibility and the democratization is very important, but in my country, it's not enough to accessibility to in the internet or technology and something like that. And yeah, sometimes in an international side, physical boundaries, it's important for my exhibitions. Sometimes artists can create an expansive and interactive words in the digital space, but sometimes experiences that challenge our perceptions of reality. And yeah, I can say that's this one.
Yeah, actually, we've been also, I mean, curating and exhibiting different exhibitions internationally, and we've been working with the international artists, especially also we support female artists, digital female artists in the field. And so, I mean, using different technologies, not just the technology, but the place of the event is very important. And we've been thinking that, okay, the art should be democratized and not just in the museums and it could be anywhere and everywhere for the people. I mean, even in your own house, in your room. So that's how actually NFTs and physical art pieces and versus digital art pieces and digital assets came into our lives. And my question to Kate first, how can the application of NFTs and smart contracts, do you think, revolutionize the concept of ownership, and particularly for the digital art? And is it feasible to extend these technologies to establish and verify ownership of physical art pieces, such as paintings by Picasso? So what's the difference actually collecting physical or digital art, which Esra mentioned a little bit, but I'm sure you have some different experiences too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Anil. That's an amazing question because everyone who collects art wants to collect a real piece of art with a provenance that is actually has a provenance of 100%, that it's not, as you can call it, fake, right? The smart contract revolutionized the digital art. The problematic with the digital art was, what is digital art? It's something that is on a digital medium. So, for example, a JPEG photo or a video could be an art, but how you can prove that it's not just something copy pasted, right? And that it's not coming straightforward from the artist. The smart contracts allows us to put a piece of a code inside of this digital piece of art, and that's how we prove 100% to whom it belongs. And the way we code the smart contract, we actually make a track of every ownership and how far it is connected to the artist. So in this way, actually, digital art got a new air to breathe with this smart contracting. Obviously, what we want to do now, everyone who works in art, is to kind of prolong this effect of verified ownership on physical assets. And that's where the challenge comes, because if we can code something inside of digital art, how can we code it inside of the statue from marble? I know that now there are some companies that exist, they try to put some kind of chip that you can either glue or input inside of the art, which is good. But as I can see, it could only prove the ownership for the pieces, for the artists that they actually create. So they basically don't need it. And they have full staff working in the museum, like in the Louvre, the conservators of museum. it's actually their job to prove that this specific statue belongs to this specific artist from Italy, from a Renaissance era time of Italy. So it's very hard to put it to this type of pieces, and to explain museums that they need it, it's a challenge, because at first, everything that you touch in any museum in the world, nothing belongs to the museum. If this museum belongs to the Minister of Culture, it means that all pieces of art, they actually belong to the Minister of Culture, and whatever you want to do to these pieces of art, manipulate, restore, and input any chip inside, you need to go through the commission. And it will be very, very, very hard to explain a commission that you need to put a smart contract inside of the statue. So once again, just to sum up, I would say that for digital art, it's a real revolution. For conventional physical art that is produced today, it could be applied, but for everything that was produced 200 years ago, the percentage of museums or collectors that would be interested in that is unfortunately very low. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. Actually, while I was listening to you and Esra's perspective, it's mostly the collector's perspective also, I mean, versus the digital artist perspective. And yes, we all agree that this is very revolutionary, but I mean, working with Web3 tools and creating with new technologies like AI, AR, VR, XR. So my question is to Vesna and Irem. Actually, Vesna, you can start. So how do current non-physical art forms and platforms really enable you to work as an artist, as an inventor? I know you are also an educator, yeah, and maybe you would like to mention some of your latest projects to us. Yeah, Vesna? I think you should. Yeah. Now
yes, now it works.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a really challenging question also, because I think there's so many unknowns, and it's really a process that we are still perceiving, as was mentioned before also by Kate, as being in flux, and with all these new sort of strategies being adopted by public institutions on one hand, and by collectors, which I think the tools that are given by Web3 technologies are actually a huge benefit. We're kind of moving towards the cashless society in that sense, where things are really transparent and verified. So I think that from that sense, it's probably something that, at least the way I can see it in my exchange with institutions, it's something that is being adopted, but it's not being systematically adopted. So the question really remains to be seen, which is perhaps also important for the artist now practicing today, to what extent this is really going to become a practice. But from the point of view of an artist, I think very often I have these conversations with my colleagues about how with this moving away from the traditional gatekeepers, as also Kerstin mentioned before, and the traditional, let's say, tastemakers and in the forms of curating and so on, how the entire art production and communication from the between the artist and let's call them consumers has been in a way liberated, or has got a whole new potential. However, there is also a slight challenge, because now if everything theoretically is possible, then all of a sudden we see that all the available channels are becoming flooded, and it's again becoming very important to set perhaps some new types of boundaries, some new types of criteria about taste making. I mean, inevitably, art is a very personal, a matter of personal taste, and sometimes this personal taste also gets agglomerated in sort of artistic styles and trends. And somehow I think this sort of filters are becoming also implemented. So for me, what is also very interesting, I've been looking a little bit in the history of artistic production and what sort of challenges traditional media have been facing. And I know from my own sort of early practices, especially in architecture and design, how easy it was to have a design that has been just published in magazines or in exhibitions, but not fully built or realized. How easy it was to get that copied, and how difficult it was to actually prove, who was the first one that came up with that idea. So. We can say that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, but it brings us back to this question of imitation, of also artistic forgery, which is, I think, a discipline that has existed as long as the art, probably. And with that also the need to mass produce artworks, the need to perhaps also challenge what it means to mass produce, and what it is to question the validity of, let's say, originality and singularity of an artwork, which are also questions that have already been massively addressed by movements such as pop art. So this is nothing new. And more recently, I think we've been also confronted, if I go a little bit away from the visual arts, I mean, the piracy in the film and music industry has always been a huge problem, and downloads, illegal downloading, and so on, and multiplying of this content that actually costs a lot of effort and time to create is sometimes disheartening. So I think that in that sense, it is an extra protection and reassurance for the artist to be able to say that working within a digital environment with a set of digital tools also is then supported by not only presenting that work in a reasonably, let's say, an environment that is close to their native environment in which the work has been created, but it's also sort of seamlessly protected and has a proof of provenance. So I believe that this is still a very, very evolving topic, and I've personally find it beneficial and empowering for the artist to be able to really encrypt and protect and prove the provenance of the art.
Yeah, thank you, Vesna, and thank you to our listeners. Actually, I've seen, many familiar faces like Pinar and Atil and Vini and Dominic and Leila, and there were some other participants. Thank you for actually listening to us patiently. So my question is to Irem as an artist, because I'm feeling like when I talk to some traditional artists and painters, they are kind of feel threatened a little bit about those evolving technologies like AI, AR, and VR to create art. So you think, is there a realistic possibility of AI replacing human painters in the near future? What do you think?
Actually, yeah. Actually, I can say that I'm very optimistic about all these technologies, because I think that they are just tools. So still, the human mind, the creation of human being is the most essential thing. So that's why I actually don't feel these kind of technologies threatened for painters or traditional artists. But still, I'm working with a digital tool, so that's why I cannot understand maybe exactly what they feel about all these new technologies, because I think that this world, I mean the world of non-physical art forms and platforms, unlocks a vibrant playground for all of us to unleash our potential as an artist, or maybe a educator or inventor, etc. So I think that as an artist, we can create still, just like in the traditional art forms, unique visual artworks, maybe AI-driven narratives, but still we create this narrative. AI is just a tool that we prefer to use instead of, let me say, traditional art tools like a brush, etc. So that's why I think that it's a good thing for us to discover the new possibilities, expanding our boundaries, so climbing up our limitations, etc. And that's why actually I think that we can explore all the frontiers of these emerging technologies like VR, AR, and again, blockchain and NFTs, because we can reach from all the people around the world. At the same time, we can meet in the virtual exhibitions, we can tell our artistic point of view, we can transmit our messages to all the interested audiences related our artworks. So that's why I don't know, maybe you could call me some sort of a technology determinist, but yes, I'm very optimistic for that kind of opportunities.
Yeah, thanks, Iram. I agree with you. I think all of us, actually, if we are listening to this panel, so and all the speakers are totally agree with you, because we need to be also like that. I mean, I'm especially sometimes afraid of, human designed technologies other than AI designed technologies, let me say. Yeah, sometimes it's true. And the thing is, we've been also conducting and curating, organizing the first screenless AR NFT exhibitions with my partner, who is also one of the listeners today, until so in different cities and countries. Now we are working in an AI exhibition project, which is very excited for me, and so we are trying to make it more feasible and visible for everyone, actually, not just for the museums, and especially in living spaces. So but we need some reports also, and we need some indications, we need some data in those days, how we can really position ourselves as in these evolving Web3 technologies, as creators, as inventors, as collaborators, and also curators and collectors. So Kerstin, I know that you recently conducted an amazing report, Art and Tech report, and there are very interesting indications and insights in that report. Can you just provide us some important top lines, please?
Thank you, Anil. Yes, I would certainly love to, and maybe just to give a couple of words on the background of this initiative. It's an independent initiative. It's been founded by 4 women from the art market in Germany. And the origin was that, at least from the point of view of a traditional art market, there is a lot of hesitation and also skepticism when it comes to opportunities through technology. So as a strategist, I am always interested in the consumer, or let's say collector side, instead of hearing and listening to what the seller sides would like to maintain or not change. So it was always the mission to let the collectors speak about what they do, what they desire, what they plan to do. So all the reports we've been publishing has been asking the collector side as a standard. And for the latest one being published this year, the mission was to examine the impact of Web3 onto the concept of collecting and how digital art collecting might differ from the traditional collecting mechanisms we are used to. And we have surveyed more than 300 international art collectors and digital art collectors via an online survey. And the findings of the latest research show that, first of all, there are distinct differences between NFTs and collectibles on one side and digital art, and they follow different kind of collecting motivations, but also buying patterns. And I strongly believe this is really important to understand, because media and uninformed people still tend to wrap everything in one bucket, which is not true. So that is one of the most important information in this report, to really understand how does digital art collecting work, but also how Web3 with its concepts is actually putting pressure on traditional mechanism coming from the art market as we know it. And if you force me to pick the 3 most important key insights or learnings, I would probably pick 3.5, and that would be the following. First and foremost, 85% of all surveyed respondents said that they consider digital art as equally significant as traditional art. And I mean, this is like success and gain. And this is due to the possibility of digital ownership now. But that also means digital art is seriously nearing and entering the art canon and the market, and becomes another category next to painting and sculpture, which is, in my opinion, been long overdue. And also very interesting was to see that the majority of the surveyed collectors said that the perceived value of their art collection has not suffered at all despite the crypto downward during the last 1.5 years, which to us was another proof that there are distinctions. And if you collect digital art, and even if you feel like you're losing in value when it comes to the financial side, there's still an emotional value to art. And that is what remains, because it's intrinsic, and it's just another proof that digital art follows, you know, the mechanism and rules and magic of art in itself. And as a third one, and this is actually going back to what Vesna mentioned previously, is that we are speaking about Web3 as a concept, and we all know it comes along with core concepts like communities. And when you survey how the power of community is impacting digital art collecting, it's very interesting to see that we literally see a new powerhouse evolving here, with a lot of influence in terms of what people collect, how to develop an artist's career, how to create market demand. So again, I mean, we started about speaking about a world without gatekeeping, but we can clearly see a rising power amongst communities, literally, you know, mirroring those kind of impacts onto the field of art, or digital art collecting at least. And last but not least, and for someone, you know, very rooted in the traditional art market, this is not really a surprise and very relatable to me, but data shows that collectors, and also collectors from the crypto space, are starting to ask for more curation and contextualization. And again, in honesty, this goes against concepts like decentralization and democratization. But I'm sure every one of you has experienced the same situation once you visit one of the major platforms. It meanwhile takes a while until you find something you really like or you were looking for, because there is a huge oversupply of pictures, and, you know, not necessarily art, it's about pictures, and you need to find your way around. So actually, it's only natural that people start to ask for mechanisms like curation or selection or navigation to find their way around, and really start focusing on art again. And I personally think that's a good thing, because it's another proof which states we are talking about art here, because that is exactly how we treat physical art. We put it into context, we make people see it in real life. So it's, you know, we are talking about art, and it doesn't matter if it's sculpture or painting or digital art, and I think that's great. Yes, and if you are interested in more insights, because there are more, we have published the report for free on the website. It's called arttechreport.com. And I know it sounds promotional, but since we don't earn anything with it, I think I'm allowed to do it, because this report is meant to be read and shared and traveling, and should be of interest for everyone who's trying to base decisions, as you said, Anil, on some kind of data rather than intuition.
and your journey from the beginning for this art and tech report, and I was also one of the participants, and I was one of the lucky person actually have seen the report for the first time maybe. So I advise anyone actually to have a look to go to artandtechreport.com and download the report if you are really into Web3 and art ecosystem. So it's very beneficial. Thank you for that. And for the last words, Kate, would you like to add anything? Because we are running out of time, and I'm very, very actually thankful to all our listeners today.
I think that everything was told already, but I would just like to, briefly for 2 minutes, take a perspective of the history of art on the subject that AI will replace painters. When we say AI will replace painters, we mean that the painting will be painted in the way that we asked it to be painted, in a very beautiful way. And it's actually nothing new, and we saw it in history. If you take a look on the 19th century, there were two major flows of art in France. One of them was the beloved Impressionism, where actually painters were going against of any rules and they were painting what they liked. And the second flow was, as we call it today, the academism flow and academistic painters, and they were painting what were told from them to participate in the exhibition as a salon. So they were not using AI, but they were not using their perfect ideas either. So they were a tool for the School of Arts, for the royalty, for people who wants to collect, that they were painting what was asked from them. So in this sense, AI will still be doing that, but it doesn't mean that creative artists won't have place and won't be creating, and we want like both creations of that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. And for the last words, Esra, what would you like to add?
Well, actually, generally, I ask my artists and I just 2 questions, and then we produce artwork. And my first question is, do you want to use the technology as a tool, or do you want to focus on technology as a center aim in your creation? So when we discuss these 2 questions, we can produce very different way. And yeah, that's all I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much for everyone. I think it was a great discussion, and I'm sorry that we can't record it. So next time, I think we should work on that because we need to share it with many people. And yeah, that's what CryptoFemale is really trying to do. To increase the actually female experts' voice, who is working also on the technology and on the Web3 ecosystem. And thank you very much to Shilan, Hilal, Sima for organizing this event and to helping me actually for everything. Made my life very easy for this LinkedIn Live. And yeah, see you for the next events then. Thank you very much for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
See
everyone.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
bye.
you. See you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.